You are listening to Thunderbolt Sports Talk. Here are your hosts, Charlie Adams and Timothy Yeen.
Welcome to Thunderbolt Sports Talk once again, episode 14. And Tim, the Boltz are back in town. We're finally able to talk about winter sports again. But even more excitingly, the Boltz man is back in town. Our first alumni guest on the program, Caden Holtzman. Welcome to Thunderbolt Sports Talk.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
And Caden, like we treat all our guests, you being our third, we got plenty to give you here. Just to start off, we'll start you off with a TSM shirt.
Thank you.
And we know how much you love your muffins. And we got you some of the best here. Some Morning Glory muffin. Tim, how much were you able to procure this muffin for?
Well, originally I thought it was going to be a buck, $1, but, we're not going to talk about politics on this podcast, but let's just say the price was raised to $2, so $2 well spent. Caden.
$2 muffins?
Yeah, double
That's what we're doing
from
now?
last year. So
That's great.
I
At least you're
know.
able to buy one. Sometimes they only let teachers get them.
Yeah, we got them in the morning. It should be well fresh, and we hope you enjoy it. I don't know what Morning Glory does taste like, but Caden,
Should I crack it?
yeah, I think you should crack it right now.
So this makes our first food review live on the podcast. So the bar is being set here. Not much expectations for our rating system just yet. We'll see what kind of scoring system we go with. Talking about a Morning Glory cupcake or muffin from one Cranston East bakery straight out of Cranston High School East.
Caden, looks like you got a big chunk out of that muffin. How does it taste?
It's really good, but I'm not sure what the flavor is. I'm seeing some green in here.
Oh.
Definitely have some kind of fruit-y flavor.
Mm-hmm. Does it taste... Have you ever had fruitcake? Does it taste like that?
I haven't. Maybe I'm just not distinguished like
Can I
you
see
guys.
the inside of that real quick?
Oh, yeah, here you go.
All right, so...
See, there's the green up top. That's what's kind of throwing me. And then a little bit of white over there.
And then I feel like you got a little bit of...
Maybe like a raisin
yeah,
going on?
raisin.
Oof.
I think I might have to get another bite into that.
Yeah. Mm. Whoa. That's intense.
And of course, Chaz, I don't know if you want to announce this yourself, but we got a little bit of a gift here.
Yeah, this might be the first episode that we desperately need a camera or should have had a video recording of, because another thing that the viewer can't see is this present that Tim bought for himself. Nice and gift wrapped here to Tim from Tim. It's a Funko Pop of yourself.
Wow.
And we're going to get a review on this, but first let's get a score on this Morning Glory muffin, which I'm guessing has some breakfasty egg kind of things in it. I'm not sure.
I'm going to go with a strong 8 out of 10 here.
Okay.
Definitely would eat again. Probably wouldn't be my first choice, but would enjoy on a regular basis.
All right, that's a respectable review. Might have to try a muffin myself. All right, now, as we say, Chaz, the best people towards you is yourself. So, as much as I'd like to actually surprise the people of this podcast listening group, let's take a little shake at it. Feels like an Xbox. I'm not sure if it's a Funko Pop, but, if I should open it right now.
It's a tiny Xbox, maybe. Let's open up the box, see what's inside. My opinion, we're not sponsored, but Funko making a great product here. Build your own Funko Pop online. Buy one for $30 before tax. Came out to about $40 when it was all said and done. And would you look at that? What a Funko Pop there of Tim Yeen himself. That's a beautiful start to this episode, Tim. That's an amazing Funko Pop, kid. What's the review, Tim?
I'm going to have to give this, since this is my own personal gift, my own money, a great 10 out of 10, Jazz. It's just beautiful. It's just, there are no ways to describe it. So.
I really respect that you wrapped it for yourself.
Oh, I didn't,
Oh, you didn't?
Well, I had to do the wrapping.
Oh, okay.
He cash apped me the money. I spent his money on his own Funko Pop.
Oh, so you designed this?
Yeah, I designed it.
Gotcha.
And we'll see my Funko Pop come on through in the coming weeks. Mr. Simone picked up the TSM set. Charlie Adams and Tim Yeen Funko Pops heading his way shortly. Gonna decorate his office with his 2 favorite students. Just go out on a limb and say it there. And let's get right into the meat and the potatoes of this podcast. We got an opinion. I have an opinion, and we're going to need your take on it. Tim Yeen stole your whole flow. He stole Go Boltz. It's no creativity. Every end of morning, start of morning, we're hearing the same thing now 2 years in a row. I'm just hoping you have any suggestions to get Go Boltz off of his back.
Yeah, so I think there's a difference between copying and tradition. If we're trying to start a tradition here, I like Go Boltz. I know Tim texted me at the beginning of this year, looking to switch it up a little bit. Can't really think of anything great.
Yeah, I tried my best to look at different people, look at different perspectives. It's just, I tried them all. Just none of them has Go Boltz. So I feel like, trying to make it a tradition.
Yeah, I mean, if it's something that carries on, I feel like that's great. I don't feel like Tim is taking my thing in any way. There's always going to be somebody who's like that. There's going to be that person next year, and it's not going to be Tim. He's not going to be here. There's going to be someone the year after that. So I really like it, but that's just me.
Yeah, Chaz, I think we're trying to create a tradition here, not,
Do you have a good one, though?
Yeah,
do you?
Well, I had a good one. I forgot my good one. I guess we're stuck with what we got now. I don't know, man. I guess Caden's good with it, so that gets me off your back a little bit. I know you've added on to Go Boltz and now just run down like 3 different slogans at one time.
What else do you have?
So I'm always like, I always remember, bleed green, show that Boltz pride. Yeah.
Great, that's great. I like those. I like those. I'm a big bleed green guy.
Really?
I think that's always been a good slogan. I think we should push that harder.
Yeah. Yeah, by itself, if you're just shouting it, I feel like it doesn't have the same powerful effect, but, if you compound it, yeah. So, Caden, with Go Boltz, is there a right way to, say that? What's your method when it comes to saying that?
For Go Boltz?
Yeah.
Well, it's actually a heavily debated topic because everybody likes to kind of say a different spin on it. I was always like a Go Boltz and put the emphasis on the Boltz.
Yeah.
I know Mr. Sparks is a really big Go fan. He wants the emphasis on the Go.
Like
he wants more of a
Go Boltz.
kind of like a Go Boltz, kind of like one of those. Extend the Go. Personally, I never picked that up. A lot of respect for Mr. Sparks, but that's not something I'm going to start doing. So I'm a big emphasis on the Boltz guy. That's the meat of it. The Boltz are going, but it's still the Boltz.
Yeah. All right. So I know, you had your senior athletic season cut short, unfortunately. If you remember your boys lacrosse season.
I do.
Had a season ending, but how's it going? How's your knee going?
It's good. I'm on the comeback. People don't really bounce back from ACLs all that quickly, and I'm no different. It's been fine. Haven't really had the opportunity to partake in intramural or club sports, but other than that, it's been okay.
All right, so Chad, if you want to transition on, we got some more questions for him.
Well, yeah, I guess if we're going to go to the ACL, let's go back to another injury. How life-changing was it getting hit by a comebacker when pitching in the 11-year-old All-Stars District Championship against Cranston West Little League?
See, I don't remember it all that. I remember the day. I don't remember that exact moment happening. I remember throwing a pitch and then waking up on the pitcher's mound. That was a big day. I mean, that kind of shook me for the rest of baseball, I would say. I was never really super comfortable pitching after that.
Yeah.
But, it's an event that happened. Probably scariest for my dad. He was out of the country, so we were trying to contact him. Be like, Caden's fine. He's in the hospital, but he'll be okay. My dad's freaking out in Ireland. But it was a good experience. Everybody needs something to bring them down every once in a while.
Yeah, so after that, did that influence your decision to not pursue baseball in Cranston East?
I don't know. I was kind of fading from baseball before that, and then that happened, and I just didn't really like feel comfortable as a pitcher. And then kind of from there, it just went down and down and down until my eventual early retirement.
So, let's dive in a little bit more to, the BBC. So how much do you miss doing it?
Oh, I will say there's a lot of things at East I do miss, and it's definitely one of them. I mean, I really enjoyed the morning announcements. I felt like it was a fun way to get the day started, fun way to end the day. I know some people here weren't fans. That's okay.
Yeah.
Everybody has haters.
Yeah. Haters are going to hate.
Haters are going to hate. Who said that? Taylor Swift, I think?
Hopefully
not.
Hopefully not.
Are you you have an anti-Taylor Swift agenda?
Not anti. I mean, I have some songs to play.
She's person of the year.
Well, who else kind of deserves some credit for that? Travis Kelce,
That's true, but also she's way bigger than Travis Kelce.
Yeah, okay.
Coming from a football fan, I know it's hard, but
Right.
I mean, it's definitely one of the huge things I miss about here. It was a great part of my day, great part of my senior year. That opportunity was very nice.
Yeah, the BBC, always a great day when you get to start and end your day with it. And let's move on to another BBC. Let's move on to Big Ben Chen. We want your take on him. I know you got to talk to him a little before the program started. What's your opinion on Big Ben Chen?
Yeah, I love Ben. Me and Ben got really close junior and senior year. He's just a really nice dude. He never a negative thing to say. He's always helpful. He's really, really funny. Unironically, one of the hardest workers I know. He came into track senior year with no experience and showed up every single day, never complained, just worked his ass off. Worked his butt off, and just a really, really hardworking dude. I know he's taking my dad's class at Bryant next semester, so we'll see how he is in the classroom. But yeah, absolutely love Ben Chen.
And Tim, I want your opinion on this. If you could pick between the Boltz Broadcasting Corporation and Big Ben Chen, which BBC would you take?
The way you put that.
Or a third option.
Yeah, I saw this video on Twitter. I say I'm not going to answer that question, because you can have both. You can have both BBCs, You can take them
No
both.
need to limit it.
Yeah. So I respond with, I take both.
Okay, well, I appreciate your opinion on that. You got plenty of room to handle both. And Caden, let's just get a life update here. You're our guest. Tell the viewers how it's been going across these months you've been away from the Thunderbolt faithful.
Pretty good. I mean, it's hard to leave such a great community, but it's been good. Starting college is always hard. It's a weird transition time for everybody, but I've been having a good time. Football's fun. You have the number one team in the country, and it's got to be fun. But it's been a good time out at the University of Michigan.
They're the number one team in the country as we get ready for the college football playoff. There might be some reasons why they're the number one team in the country.
Yeah, you said you'd answer all and every question, Caden. And, with Michigan being the number one team in the country, there's certainly bound to be some speculation as to whether, if it's deserved. If you look at, signs everywhere, you can see that there is a clear sign that, maybe some sign stealing has occurred. What are your thoughts on that?
I don't think there's anything. Okay, if you're telling me you can't scout, what does sports become? You can scout. Filming the sideline wasn't great. The guy's been fired. The thing I don't understand is why was Harbaugh penalized? He was not. I guess probably as the head coach he was involved, but he wasn't directly involved. It feels a weird way to attack the program, but clearly it didn't really hinder us. In his 3 games that he missed, we beat 2 top 10 teams. We're good with him. We're better without him. Didn't hurt us much.
Well, you guys got the best of Ohio State for the 3rd year in a row with a 30-24 victory. How involved have you been as a fan for Michigan? Were you at that game? Were you in attendance for some of these big wins this season?
Yeah, so I've been at every home game, from like absolutely blistering heat on September 2nd, where everybody wanted to pass out sitting in the sun for 4 hours, and then absolutely freezing at the Ohio State game. I've been at every game. I've watched every game on TV when they're not at home. Ohio State game was definitely the best. Super, super fun atmosphere. I got down onto the field. I was able to rush the field. So just a really special moment to be a part of.
Yeah, so when you go to the Michigan games, as a student, do you have to pay for them, or
So you buy a pass at the beginning of the year, and then they're all like each one comes out to like $15 or something. So it's like you do pay, but you're not paying them. Yeah. So I have that and basketball. Basketball tickets and then men's hockey tickets are the only one you need to pay for, and then everything else is free.
Yeah. So that was your first. So this is your first year you've seen Michigan beat Ohio State as a Michigan student.
That's true. Yeah.
So for the third year in a row, they beat them 30-24. Just tell me the feelings you were experiencing. When Michigan won that third straight game.
Yeah. So it was really, really fun. I was sitting weirdly close. I got there early. And the day had been nuts because, you wake up at 5 a.m. I went to see College Game Day with Pat McAfee. That was super fun. And then kind of went over to Big Noon kickoff, saw Urban Meyer, saw Tom Brady's zoomed in. That was fun. But it's a really insane environment. People are just rowdy. People are active the entire game. And we were confident going in. We hit that last field goal. And then they kind of started driving, and we were all silent on that last drive. And then obviously Rod Moore had that pick to seal the game with 30 seconds left. They took those 2 nails, and we just went nuts, started storming the field. It was awesome.
Now, College Game Day pregame. I know Pat McAfee has picked out a student to kick a field goal pregame to earn a lot of money. If you were that student, were you going to be able to knock that down?
No shot. We've seen 10 weeks in a row or 12 weeks in a row. It's hard. It's a hard field goal to hit 33 yards, I think, with a bunch of pressure on you for 100K. No shot I'm hitting that.
All right. Well, let's go over some Cranston East results on Thunderbolt Sports Talk because we're back in the winter season, Tim, and it was a big week for Cranston East sports. We started off the week really strong in the basketball department with a great East versus Bishop Hendricken game. It didn't quite go our way, Tim, but you were in attendance, and you had a front row seat to arguably the best game we've seen from Cranston East basketball in a while, against Bishop Hendricken at least.
Yeah, of course. I wouldn't say exactly front seat, but, a good seat enough for the broadcast position to, get a great glimpse of the action. Bishop Hendricken was just made ugly that night versus Cranston East. That defense, man, was extremely tough, extremely, loud, extremely hard. Played press basically the entire game. Didn't look like they were tired, throughout those 4 quarters. And to just lose against Hendricken with a chance to shoot the game winner, I feel like that's a really strong first step into the achievements that this team might set on later in the season. But there were, of course, some glancing issues there. Of course, when you're playing that tough of a defense, you obviously get into some foul trouble. And we saw that in the loss versus Cumberland last night. It was a 53-44 loss versus the Clippers. So, they were playing that same type of defense. And, that referee was a little bit harsher on them that night. And saw a lot of people get into some foul trouble early. A lot of foul limits reached in the first and thirds. And overall, I think the way they play defense, the way they play energetically was, outstanding. But, of course, it comes with the risk of those fouls, and you just got to limit that to not shooting yourself in the foot and, just knowing what you're doing on the offensive side, because in the Cumberland game, there are also lots of travels, lots of up-and-down violations, and even some free throws was some lane violations. So, obviously, some stuff to iron out in terms of just discipline overall, but I feel like I really like what Coach Delfino is cooking up.
Coach Delfino in his first couple games showing some promise early, and quickly congratulations to us and Jesslyn, our social media manager for hitting 1,000 followers on Thunderbolt Sports Media's Instagram page. Was teeter-tottering around that 990, 998-ish, but we got over the hump. Looks like we'll stay there. And let's just smoothly transition straight into the Washington Bridge, because this is some Rhode Island news that's taken the state by storm. No one can get to East Providence anymore. Caden, I don't know if it affected you on your way back home.
It did not, but it affected me. I went to the doctor because I had a little bit of a cough, which turned out to be nothing. You know, everybody in college is a little sick, but it took me about an hour and a half to get from, I don't know if you guys know where Waterman Pediatrics is, but it's kind of by like, I don't know, that East Providence strip that kind of turns into Seekonk. It was right by there, and it took me about an hour and a half to get home, which is just absolutely brutal and kind of ruins your entire day. There's no recovering from that. It just, you lose the time.
Yeah, it's definitely a struggle. Hopefully we'll avoid it as much as possible. I'm probably going to have to deal with it on the way back home from Christmas. But another thing, last year's class council, heavily involved, and I know your senior superlatives happened. Ours are happening right now, and it is terrible.
Terrible?
Oh, my God. Yeah, all right. Go ahead, Tim. Student council president, brown nosing for the class council. Let's hear it.
Yeah, let me just first say this, Caden. You know, I'm not saying that I have any, beef with any of our, if from any of the councils the opposite side of where I work, which is student council president.
There's always that little rivalry.
Yeah, so I don't have any personal, beef with them, but I feel like, the way they've handled the situation is kind of, awkward. If Chaz, would you like to elaborate?
Well, if Jesselyn's listening to this podcast episode, oh well. If she is, everything I'm saying is true. This vote is insane. I don't know what's going on here. First of all, we had a vote. No one voted. Not enough people to vote, I guess. So, yeah, sure. They had write-in ballots, and you could write in whoever you wanted on a Google form. Pretty simple. Now we just have about 4 or 5 people to vote for, except one category, which is, I guess, determined already. Classic class council moment there. And it just keeps on getting worse and worse. The poll creator is included in a lot of categories that are a little suspect. I don't know.
This is Jesselyn?
This is Jesselyn. She's in a lot of categories that you can vote for. And she also put out a very interesting message on her Instagram notes.
Wow.
She asked people, I can see who votes for me. Come on now.
Whoa.
Which, if you can see who votes for you, you can also just mess up the results on your own, make it your reality, kind of. And that's kind of what it seems like with all these options to vote for, Tim.
Wow.
I know you're supportive of it because you're on 4 of them, which is part of the problem.
What 4 are you on?
Most likely to be famous.
Okay.
We have most school spirit.
Okay.
Most likely to bleed green. Sounds a lot like most school spirit, but it's all right.
How are those different?
No one knows. And also, most well-known. Pretty all right showing out of you, Tim.
Who's on the most well-known nominees?
Most well-known nominees, Tim Yeen,
Yep.
Donlette Stevens.
I have no idea who that is.
She's eliminated. Kenneth Santos.
I don't think so.
Yeah. Jessica Tran.
Yeah.
Jesselyn Marizon.
Yeah.
And Genesis Marion. A lot of these names, every single one of these names are already on a different poll in this vote.
Ooh.
And it's an interesting showing. The most likely to save the world, Lily Guyon, Bushra Khan, and Andy Wu, one of Tim Yeen's favorites.
Yeah, that's a weird category. Most likely to save the world? From what? AI?
I'd like to interject real quick. I mean, I'm not sure what's trying to save the world from, but it's definitely not Andy Wu because I think he's going to electrical engineering.
Yeah, that's
and
not
with
gonna save the
engineering,
world.
you never know. You could go into nuclear engineering and then
end the world.
Yeah.
Maybe we have to stop the world from Andy Wu.
yeah, maybe.
I don't know. That's an
Yeah,
interesting.
maybe that's the superlative.
Yeah.
Most likely to end the world, Andy Wu.
Yeah, easy.
in my defense, I feel like, in my personal opinion, I've earned those categories which I've selected in. I've been, doing the announcements for, the past 3 years. Although, to be fair, I wouldn't say that my spirit for the school has, been as energetic as some of the other ones,
Prominent. Yeah.
And, if I had to not win, I want to be to most likely to bleed green because I am not a Celtics fan. So that
go
is,
C's.
I don't want to be related to that poverty franchise. Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, whoever is on that Super Five, probably not going to get past Jaime Jaquez Jr. And the Miami Heat again. I think most well known. I feel like, me personally, all roads lead to Tim Yee.
Of course.
Very humble of you to take yourself out of one of the categories as you look at your own Funko Pop that you bought for yourself. It's a great time. And Caden, I know that a lot of friend groups usually take over the senior superlatives. It was similar kind of last year.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think no best car being here is a straight failure on the class council part. We have some great cars.
Do you know who won best car last year?
It was Roach.
Tommy Roach. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, the Rumblebee. Yeah, that's a good vote.
There's a lot of great cars in Cranston East this year. I'd put Chaz the Car 43 up with any car that has to come and fight against me. I know Saba has a good car too. Shout out to him. And I just want to bounce back to most musically inclined. You can only vote for Kenneth Santos, and that is a good transition.
Oh, I do know him then. Yes, I do. The cello guy.
I think so. I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Okay, then give him most.
Might as well just be. I guess he deserves to be the only vote getter there.
Yeah.
But
he's the only one nominated?
Apparently.
That can't be right.
There's
That's not how democracy works.
Exactly. That's not how it works. And that brings me into our class council vote where almost every single position ran unopposed, including people running as co-presidents.
Wow, who are co-presidents?
Jessica Tran and Sophie Vorparian ran as co-presidents. None of the candidates really gave a speech. They kind of just winged it and encouraged a lot of people to say, what is going on here? Because the vote came out and there was only 2 positions to vote on that weren't already predetermined. I don't know if that's how it worked in your class.
Yeah, you can question all you want about how I got into the student council position, which there was no opposition. But, I'm going to take that, but I feel like I'm doing a better job than, my counterparts. But, I feel that as if there should have been, an electoral process to be had, considering the fact that, maybe they did, go for co-presidents last year, but, this year I feel that, we have to find one way, we have to find that one way and root everyone together because this is, as much as diverse of a school as it is, you have to have one vision, and that vision is Boltz pride. And,
of course,
we can't have this little, mirror type situation or whatever, So that's just my take on it. Obviously, coming from a political standpoint, I feel as if I'm politically inclined to discuss the, how this whole process works. But Caden, as a returning alumni, I just want your take on this and, give some word of advice to the school.
The school. Well, as for the co-presidents thing, I really enjoyed my co-presidency, but only because Isabella Bach completely ran the show, and she's a very, very impressive person, and it was definitely not me. I was just kind of there, and I asked to do it, and they were like, sure. So that was a good time for me. As for going forward, there doesn't need to be vice presidents. I love doing it, but I think it should have just been Isabella Baugh. If we ran, she would have won 1,000 times in a row. But it should just be one person. You don't need 2 people to do that job. And then as for running unopposed, it's a hard thing to do because it happens a lot. But I think it's just because people don't want to be involved. And if you don't want it to be unopposed, then you should run. That's always my advice.
That's a fair take, Caden. Was that taught to you at Michigan or, whatnot, or, or is it just your personal wisdom?
I don't know. I always feel like it's one thing to not be involved, but then it's another thing to not be involved, and then like not talk poorly about the things you're not involved in. But it's like, if you're gonna complain about school dances and school things, then why don't you take it into your own hands?
That is what I am saying. That is what I am saying. I don't know if you listen to the podcast episodes, but I'm always telling this kid, if he wants something to change, he has to get involved in it. I keep saying it, and now he wants to overthrow me in a coup d'etat.
Well, anarchy is always more fun, but let's give you a second to plug the student council. What's going on with the winter ball? I know it was finally announced. West is coming up very shortly. What's the winter ball season looking like?
Look, I'm not going to say that we're going to be better than Cranston West. I'm going to say for the value of it, we are going to outdo them completely. We're going to do them outright completely, because West winter ball ticket is like $60, and they do have a nice fancy venue. They do have those nice things there, but we're not going to talk about how it all happened.
It's different.
So,
it's a different system.
Yeah,
over there.
different. We're not going to branch into that, but
They have sponsors, I think.
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, we're not
They
gonna
always
we're not gonna branch into that on Thunderbolt Sports Talk. So anyway, for our winter ball, it's like $30, so like same as last year. I feel like it's a very affordable price point. To have one, it's gonna be at the same location as last year, which was in someplace in Warwick. Were you there, Caden?
I was.
Yeah,
I was there. I don't remember. It's kind of like behind the Warwick Mall. I think.
Kind of.
I don't remember exactly where it was.
It's kind of like remote, kind of, but
yeah.
somewhere like that. So we have food, we have the basic necessities to have a thriving winter ball party. So, we're already halfway through it. We just gotta get decorations in, get the nice centerpiece for the fire and ice theme.
Wow.
So
Great theme.
yeah, it's fantastic. I think we're gonna have a great winter prom, winter ball. We've already done some funding beforehand too. We've started doing movie nights to try and get some revenue
What
in.
have you watched?
So we've done two. We've done I can't remember I think it was Coraline.
Okay.
And Home Alone.
Two good movies.
Yeah, two good movies that the people voted on.
The people.
Okay, so that is an emphasis of my administration. I'm really
focus
more
on
of
the
a-
people. Emphasis
yeah,
on the people.
I'm
Okay,
popular.
gotcha.
Yeah, because I don't want to take a jab at class council again, but we work for the people, not for the elite. I'm just saying. Chaz, you want to add?
Elite.
Not for the elite. Well, Tim, you just admitted defeat to Cranston West before we could even see either dances.
What are they doing? Like a cruise ship? Whatnot? What are they doing? What are they doing?
I don't know. They got a good plan apparently, but I guess we have the more bang for your buck.
How am I supposed to compete? How is this school supposed to compete with whatever Cranston West is doing? They have serving chicken parm or whatnot. I don't know what they're doing over there, but they've definitely put in way more than what we are able to.
Well, the bang for your buck is at Cranston East apparently. It's winter season. We're heading on to Christmas. And that means that there's a Spotify Raptor, some version of it for everyone, and every single platform. We have our Spotify Wrapped for our podcast. And Caden, what's your Spotify Wrapped looking like?
My Spotify Wrapped. It's a lot of really basic stuff. Drake was my number one, which is hard to admit, hard to look someone in the eye and admit. And then Frank Ocean was my number two. Don't remember much past that, but I think Kanye was on there, which is embarrassing in 2023 and should not happen. But I don't know, Kendrick maybe. Just a lot of like, when you think of like basic rap, that's basically me.
All right. Not bad, not bad. Are you a Xbox or PlayStation kind of guy in college?
I'm an Xbox guy, but I don't find enough time to use it.
Not enough time to use it. Tim Yeen apparently has found plenty of time to use his PlayStation. The Xbox and PlayStation both released their versions of Spotify Wrapped. Tim Yeen putting up Wilt numbers, huh? How's it going over there, Gene?
I'm getting all my work done and able to play
How
video
much did you
games that
play?
I
What's
played like over 1,000 hours. So
this year?
yeah, this year. Wow. So summer vacation probably extended that to like a bunch. Yeah, because I wasn't really doing anything over the summer. So what better to do
Hard to
than
find things to do.
to just play Madden every single month that I've played for the longest each month. So I'm not surprised by that. I mean, sometimes when the actual football gets boring, I'll just hop on Madden.
Hop on it. It's more fun.
Yeah, get to control the Patriots. Get to make some roster decisions that desperately need to be made. Yeah, I would say that Chaz, if you want to talk about if you want to talk about the allegations of you playing more than me.
Whoa.
Well, Tim, Madden is a great game to never buy. And the allegations of me playing more than you, it's what the statistics show. But the only thing is, I leave my Xbox on 24/7.
That
And
cannot be safe.
it's probably not. My parents don't listen to this podcast much, so hopefully they don't know about that. It's literally been on like forever since I got the Xbox. The only problem is once I got the TV that supports 4K and 120 frames, it started doing this flashing thing conveniently right when the warranty ran up on it. And the only way to really combat it is leave it on so I don't, whenever I restart it, it's going to start flashing again. It takes like an hour or two to fix. So I just leave it on. It racks up the hours. I'm literally still on right now. I can go on the Xbox app and check out what I'm on. Might have turned itself off. Oh, there it is. Yep, I'm off. Apparently it's off now, I guess. Womp womp for me. That's going to be fun when I get home if I have time to play. But yeah, I'm up to about 1,800 hours according to the website. A lot of it's spent.
How many days is that?
78, I think. I don't know. 48.
48? A month and a half?
I don't think it's 48.
Oh my goodness.
Let's see here. So about that many hours. Yeah, it's around 78, which doesn't count because it was staying on overnight. That's like an auto 12 hours, Tim, at least, of not playing MLB The Show my top game, making May my top month when MLB The Show was in its prime mid-baseball season. Tim, you got something to say?
Yeah, maybe if you utilize your PlayStation more, which for some reason the city of Cranston is the only community I know that uses Xbox over PlayStation here in Rhode Island.
I'm an Xbox guy. Always have been.
It's weird. I mean, because all my friends in Providence were on PlayStation, and now here is like, it's like how I moved to Maine. Everyone's on a different flow. Everyone's on a different, time zone.
Well, Bane's just in a whole different stratosphere of middle schools. We don't need to get into anything that goes on over there. It's better for everyone. But yeah, I was a PlayStation guy until I got to middle school and realized every single person played Xbox. So I made the switch, got the Series S, or got the Xbox One S before the Xbox Next Gens came out. And I've been Xbox ever since. My brother's stuck with PlayStation. But I think I've gotten on to Face You and Madden before. Huh? Say it again.
Then you lost Madden.
Well, I'm pretty sure I went Anthony Richardson. He didn't do what I was expecting. Maybe the 4 picks had something to do with the loss, but it's all right. And Caden, I know Tim has a big question for you that he's been waiting a while to say. And who better to ask but you?
All right. Yeah, so, we've talked, a good bunch about you, but, I want to talk about your brother a little bit, my mentor from my freshman year.
Yeah.
I haven't seen him in a while, but, how's Mo doing?
He's doing well. He wanted to come on here with me. And I'm sad he wasn't able to make it. He's still at Syracuse. He has a final today.
Oh, yeah?
Actually,
is he coming back soon?
He's coming back Sunday.
Oh, he's
He
got to.
hopefully is up and
You know,
active for
you
his
know what he has
final.
to do? He has to come to the Christmas tournament
The
for
Christmas.
basketball.
When is that?
It's like after Christmas. I think it's on during Christmas break, on our Christmas break on Monday and Tuesday. So I mean, I'd really love to, have Mo on.
The big game in the Christmas tournament on the Friday, Cranston East takes on Cranston West here at 7 p.m. Friday, the December 29th, going to be a big game. I know Cranston East, Cranston West, a big rivalry. They don't see themselves against each other much in many sports, once a year in Thanksgiving. We all saw how that went. And it's a chance for Cranston East to get back on during the holiday season.
Yeah, maybe next episode, we bring you back and then we bring Mo, once he's done with his finals and all that.
If we want to do a little brother episode, of course.
Yeah, brother, talk about the old BBC to TSM.
The pipeline, yeah.
Yeah.
Charlie, I got to talk about that sweater you're wearing. The turducken, of course. That game was really a twist of the knife. That was hard to watch from my perspective.
Yeah, it was another heartbreaking loss. At least Cranston East showed up. What showed up more was the press box turducken. After Tim Yeen and Logan Reed were on the broadcast, I was able to slide back over to writing and take basically everything that was left over from halftime and kept it all for myself. Second annual press box turducken, and we'll probably be back next year for the third annual. And that brings up the issue of being a super senior. It's hard to do when you're in Michigan, but let's just go right back to Ben Chen, who I'm sure is a big listener of this podcast.
Active super senior.
And definitely an active super senior. He, even if he was at Michigan with you, would probably find the time to fly back for his super senior ways, but the turducken might be an event that gets me back here at Cranston East.
I think Ben Chen's trying to break into the school right now just to see you, Caden. He's texted me about it. I'm not gonna let him in because that's not my business. If he wants to find someone else, I mean, if he's that desperate, he can come in.
The super senior allegations are hard to shake, and the peaked in high school allegations are really hard to shake. But luckily, I don't go to college with anybody from here, so nobody really will make those comments. But coming back here today, I feel like was a good decision. I mean, I was excited to see people. There's no reason you can't come visit a place that you have a lot of respect for in Hawaii.
Yeah, this is like a valid reason to come here.
Yeah. I'm not just roaming the halls.
Yeah, you're not
being
you're
like,
not
"What
breaking
up?"
in.
Yeah, I'm not.
You're not
doing
breaking
that.
in and saying hi to Miss Sal or
No.
Mr. Smith. And by the way, are there any teacher that you miss? I know you talked to Miss Sal, but any other?
Yeah,
teacher?
I mean, Mr. Smith is definitely one.
Yeah,
that
he
dude's
cooked you.
hilarious.
Yeah, he cooked you in basketball.
Oh God, I have told my friends about that. That's one of my college stories I tell. That was maybe one of the worst days of my life. I think I would have rather torn my ACL that day than that. Like, if I knew I was going to tear it a month later, I would have wanted to tear it that day because of how poorly I was.
Yeah, like
playing.
how did he get you? I mean, how did a balding man, AP English teacher?
Okay, I wouldn't say balding. I'd say bald.
Okay.
He's already there. He's a good basketball player. He's not even one of those like sneaky, athletic, hardworking. He's just a good basketball player, plain and simple. And he's a much better basketball player than I am. I think we're about the same height. He might be an inch or two shorter. That did not matter. That dude he's a good player, just an all around basketball player.
Well, after this podcast, we'll be heading up to Mr. Smith's for AP English. Just finished up the Canterbury Tales, now moving into some project that's yet to have a due date. Tim, let's get your opinion real quick. What was your favorite Canterbury Tale, and why was it the Reeve?
The Reeve. Was the Reeve the one?
Which one was the revenge one?
Is that the one with
Yeah, the Reeve's the one where he, both of these guys just take liberties with the carpenters, people, and then they kill the guy.
Take liberties.
That's not my. That's definitely not. The one with Slick Nicholas.
Oh, I remember
Slick Nick.
Nicholas, yeah.
Slick Nick,
yeah.
Yeah, the guy, the dog. That was just a plain outright. That was by far the best story.
What else have you guys read in there?
The Wife of Bass, and then The Partners. So if I had to put it, the Reeves last, Wife of Bass in third, second, the partner, and by far first, the Miller. I mean, it's just a funny story overall.
Gotcha.
You know, you got the out there guy that's already out there. Absalon, him. We got the the lady's wife or whatever. Thought there was a flood. All that. I thought it was fun. My only critique, if it was like made in a modern setting, I think the story would be better. And that is what we're doing. We're making.
Really?
We're using 4 characters that we made on our own. As modern Canterbury Tales characters.
Oh yeah, I did
and
this.
Putting it into a story. I mean, you did it. So
I did that. Yeah, I had Smith last year.
Yeah, would you like to share, your story? Do you remember that, or?
Let me see. Actually, I know I don't have it because they delete our CPSCD accounts. But I don't remember what I talked about. I don't remember much from that class. I remember Beowulf, right? You read that. I liked that. Did you read? What's the other one called? I was gonna say Grimace. It's definitely not Grimace.
Grimace?
I don't know. What's the creature guy called?
Grendel?
Grendel.
Yeah,
Did you read Grendel the book?
Yeah, Grendel the book? No, we did not. So because apparently it was just too much for your class to handle. So
I guess
Mr. Smith made some revisions.
I don't know, but yeah, that's a good. I love that.
Yeah, I thought it was solid.
Class.
just a basic beginning to end thing. But I wouldn't say it's up there, but it's solid. It did
I
the job.
really liked Lord of the Flies in that class.
Lord of the Flies.
I think you guys will hope. Yeah, you'll definitely get into that.
I read an excerpt with that. I thought it was interesting. But
it's an interesting story. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't wait to see how that
It
unfolds.
keeps you intrigued.
Yeah, when did you guys read that?
What?
When did you guys read that?
We read that, and what else? Oh, I don't know. We read that like later in the year.
Oh man, so
I'm trying to think.
it should be getting better as we advance.
Everything gets merged in my head because I had him for English and then also film and lit.
Oh,
So I'm like trying to think of what books we read in that class.
I think Andy Wu's taking that same path.
it's a good one to take.
Also, film and lit AP English person, and for these modern pilgrims, I don't know what Tim came up with. I got the Amazon delivery driver, Fortnite Pro, and influencer tech nerd leading off for me. I don't know if those are the ones I'll choose, but got plenty of options to go from after our busy work Canterbury Tales character chart made off of him being absent and needing something to give us. So we got plenty of ideas for us to go. And as we start to kind of wrap up, let's go back to sports for a little bit. Jaden Daniels won the Heisman over Bo Nix, Michael Penix Jr., and Marvin Harrison Jr., all potential Patriots.
I'm sure you would have loved MHJ to win the Heisman, right, Caden?
Yeah, no, that's not gonna happen.
And let's keep going as Draymond suspended indefinitely now after, again,
Get him out of
he
the
forgets. He forgot what sport he was in, and now forced to go into counseling. So,
Sorry.
very interesting there.
Yeah, I mean that guy, he's nuts. You can't punch people. He choked out Rudy Gobert earlier this year. You can't do that. What are you doing? you just can't. Be a professional. It's a game, but if you're a professional basketball player, your emotions shouldn't get the best of you like that.
And one thing hitting closer to home that came out this past couple days was Belichick is past the hot seat and will be fired in this offseason, according to NBC. We'll see how that goes.
I'll believe it when I see it.
I mean, he's definitely done plenty to warrant getting fired, just about as much as Brandon Staley did in last night's Thursday night football game. I don't know if you were able to catch any of that game.
I did not watch it, but I was updated on the score, and I was like, that's insane. I saw Keenan Allen was out. I did not make fantasy playoffs in my hometown league, which is a sad day. I was knocked out by Brady Kitterick. Big shout out to him, but it was just I've lost. I can't watch football. It's painful right now.
Yeah, my playoff hopes are alive more than ever now after Thursday's game. I'm 7-7. I need the win, and I need someone to lose. The person I need to lose left Josh Jacobs in their lineup and faced Devontae Adams, who
Wow.
obviously had to score some points. He's also looking like he won't have Nico Collins. So hopefully I sneak into the playoffs, $100 pool, and I'd like to keep that money in my account where it currently sits.
Yeah, in terms of my action, 2 games on my one of my leagues, I missed the playoffs by decimals. If I won against John Barron, shout out to him.
Big shout out, Alabama guy.
Yeah, roll Tide.
No, go blue.
Yeah. Lost by, what was it? 0.04 there, because the stat correctors gave Sam Howell an extra passing yard.
Oh,
So,
that's what did you in.
Yeah, I didn't even lose after the end of the week. It was a tie, but they gave him that extra passing yard, and then I got knocked out the playoffs week 13 because the person I was supposed to lose did not. James Fabiano,
No.
You might remember him fondly.
Yeah, great. What a great guy.
You
I
know?
got to tell him to put my fan page back up.
Oh yeah, I gotta send him a picture of you. So
I asked him to take it down a while ago because I was applying for a thing and they asked for my Instagram.
yeah,
So I wanted to make sure they didn't look up Caden Holtzman and think I had my own fan page. But
Sure.
yeah, I know earlier this year, Shep Rasmussen, who you guys both know, he won by 0.1 points off 2 quarterback kneels.
yeah.
So that was a little negative 2 or negative 0.2, to get those yards back, and he ended up winning off that, which is just a great.
Yeah, and
Great way to win.
then my legacy game versus the team I was supposed to overtake in the playoffs, James Fabiano. I lost by 0.2.
Ooh.
It is what it
close
is.
games.
There is
Nothing to
a punishment.
change.
So, and Cam Felici's in the league, so you know how that's gonna turn out if I get last place. So hopefully I don't.
That's always the hope.
Well, we can't finish up this podcast without mentioning Shohei Ohtani finally signing to the Los Angeles Dodgers and completely just like finessing the league. The Dodgers now deferring almost the entire contract to forever ago, past a contract, and saving plenty of money. They just got Tyler Glasnow yesterday. They're looking like an insane team, but Ohtani signing for 10 years and $700 million. Do you have any takes on this big signing, Caden?
Yeah, it's really just going to move the league towards the super team agenda, and it's just going to push that a lot harder. And I think it's getting more and more towards like a English Premier League type of thing. Obviously, the Dodgers and Chelsea are owned by the same guy, Todd Boehly, and he just kind of has like a buy everybody for as much as possible right now type of mindset. And I think if the MLB continues in this way, we're going to see the same thing where there's like somewhere between 5 and 10 super teams, and then everyone else is uncompetitive.
If only the Red Sox, who also are owned by someone who owns a Premier League team in Liverpool, wanted to do the same. Yoshinobu Yamamoto still available. Looks like they're still in the market, but not a favorite for him. And before we sign off here, can we get an updated score on the muffin now that it's depleted completely?
It's gone. I'll bump the score. I'll bump it to an 8.5. Still not my go-to muffin, but obviously I killed it. Nothing's gonna change there. A little breakfast muffin is never gonna hurt me.
Coach Isaiah McDaniel will be happy to hear that. And as our guest, we'll give you this time here if you want to mention anything here before we sign off. Put you on the spot a little.
Yeah, well, I just want to say thank you to you guys. This has been really fun. You guys are killing it with all the stuff you're doing, streaming and all that stuff. I know I'll tell my friends at high school or in college that I'll watch my high school football game on a Friday, or I'll watch high school basketball, and they think it's so cool because not that many schools will do something like this, and they just think it's awesome that we have a program that people can find their passion and then start doing it. And then specifically for this podcast, I reached out immediately when I saw you guys do this. I was like, this is awesome. This is great. I would have loved to do something like this last year. Other than that, just a huge amount of respect and love for East.
Thank you.
Probably great 4 years here. Some of it was COVID, but nothing I changed about my high school. love this school, love every opportunity it's provided me, and that's basically it.
Yeah, I mean, we try our best here. Shout out to the Fans Only Sports Network as well for giving us the opportunity. Thank you, Caden, for hopping onto the show.
Of course.
That will conclude our 14th episode, of the podcast. We thank you guys for watching. Once again, thank you, Caden, and I'm going to let you close it out this time with, your classics. Have a great day. Thunderbolt Sports Talk listeners, and always remember,
Go Boltz!